past
Asmon can't
about
do this
6
anymore.
months or so, I have had to endure a relentless amount of personal attacks, lies, and misrepresentations.
Our Roach King he does not deserve this. Our Roach Liege has been taking an onslaught. This is unacceptable.
That are intentionally disingenuous in order to align me
What's up,
with
everybody?
beliefs that I've actively spoken out against.
This is another instance of people trying to paint me as a Nazi. Now, this is a very, very, in my opinion, an extreme accusation to make. This is a crazy accusation to make. So
I can't believe people actually can sit here, listen to Asmon, and think he's an actual crazy person. I feel like he tries to give the most gracious, fair take. Sometimes it's a little fun and trolly, but those are more obvious. Most of the time, he's trying to give this based, measured take. And if you just listen to him, whether you're on the right or the left, eventually he's going to say something that pisses you off because he's able to critically think, and maybe you're not.
anyway, I'll read the first post here, and this is Asmon asserts that Nazis burned down the Magnus Hirschfeld Institute of Sexology in 1933, not because it was a safe space for queer people,
Starting
but
with some
because
Asmon
it
Gold
was written
today,
in
yeah.
Jewish, not German. That's actually
I got a
not
whole
what I was
lineup.
talking about. This person's just actually completely wrong. I was
We got
talking
some
about the
variety.
book burnings. So this is what I said in the clip.
Let us remember that the Nazis burned the books that the Nazis burned books
Let's listen
on
to it.
gender sciences.
They did do that. Like, my
No worries,
understanding is
Shuby,
that
I'll
they
be here all
burned them
night or all
not
day.
because it was gender stuff, but because it was written in Jewish and not German, which was me misspeaking. I meant Hebrew. It was like,
I mean, look, at least he's pointing it out. Speaking in Jewish.
like a retaking of Germany for Germans. That was like the uprising of the Nazis. Right. A retaking of Germany for Germans. They also burned porn. Yeah, they burned a lot of stuff. And I wish people like
Why would you Why are you burning the corn?
this. It's disappointing that you can't have genuine conversations because people try to just like kind of, handpick facts and like not talk about things in an honest way.
I woke up
This
a little
is
bit
the
ago,
kind
so
of
I gotta
stuff
warm
that
up my
people
mouth.
try to take out of context,
No diddy.
where like they're saying, "Oh, Asmon thinks that it wasn't." It's actually because I'm trying to discuss the actual real extent of it and the true extent of it.
I think Asmon's hairline looks like that of a philosopher, like Socrates or Plato's or like Johnny Sins.
Is much worse than what's being communicated.
Also for context, and this is going to be extremely important for the rest of the video. People are mainly trying to get Asmon banned because of chat's reaction following this clip. We meticulously went back to check, and every single one of these chatters were banned.
Okay, you cannot, just because a creator has a crazy audience, he or she is not responsible for all the stuff that they say. I'm looking at Geeky. I think we can all agree here. Sometimes Geeky says the wildest stuff, and I have no control over it. Johnny Sins is a philosopher. He's also a dentist. He's a doctor. I think I've seen him be a pizza boy. Maybe even a stepdad.
Banned.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, just because a streamer or something has a crazy audience, there's no way you can control them. Once more, shout out to Geeky in here.
They were banned days before this tweet was
Because he's
even made.
wild.
These bad actors were
There ain't no
banned,
controlling.
days before any of this drama happened. Now, this
There's
is a
nobody
person,
else who have to, like, put it in
I
the
actually
timeout
didn't know
corner.
who this was. So this is the same person who's trying to get me in trouble on Twitch. Let's listen to what they had to say about every.
Let's just look at this guy. I mean, we're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but let's see what they decide to put as the artwork for this book. First off, we got a button up below the smexy button up here. The no regrets tattoo, you gotta love it, right across the chest, letting you know that he's a wild man, he's a rebel, right across his chest. You can read it from the back, and guess what? He's a little fit. I mean, I see some shoulders. Now, granted, I don't know if that seems a little funky. That just may be the shirt. I don't know how jacked this guy is. I don't see a lot of detail in that chest, but I don't know. Something real soft about this face.
Everybody's favorite commentator, Destiny.
Hey, the guy who said it was on site at TwitchCon if he saw Destiny.
What if I want the satisfaction?
I mean, listen.
Yes.
All I'm saying is on site,
So we have on screen two radical political activists, which is probably the most.
You're telling me these two guys are radical? No way.
kind way that I can categorize these two
These
individuals
guys are extreme?
that are arguing between which of them is going to be able to beat up Destiny when they're at
What's up,
TwitchCon.
Shino?
And they're openly doing this on Twitch.
Oh.
The point that I'm making
What
is
an
that
entrance.
these are people who are advocating for violence on a regular basis, and this is something that happened, again, this was earlier this month. This is the same person who, as a response to a video about a CEO, posted a picture right here of the gun that was used to kill Shinzo Abe. So this is a person that not only is advocating for violence against other streamers, but they're advocating for violence against other people in general. This should not be tolerated in any capacity. If you
No, I mean technically this goes past free speech. This is definitely a call for violence, if you would.
are advocating for or promoting the use of violence against people in a non-self-defensive way,
I just see a Shinobi boy.
I think you should get banned. These are the people who are trying, and by the way, I wasn't even talking about burning down the Institute, I was talking about the book burning, so you didn't even listen to the clip. You're talking about something totally different. And so these are people who have been on a concerted effort to misrepresent me on a regular basis, while at the same time allowing and
Shubi, to give context of the situation, for the past few months, our Roach King, the Roach Lord Asmongold, has been taking an onslaught of just accusations online, calling him a Nazi, and just trying to really defame his name. I mean, this is no surprise that Asmon is. I personally don't understand why he's such a controversial. I mean, that's not surprising. Let me take that back. I understand completely why he's such a controversial figure. It's because he's a dude who can critically think and doesn't fall victim to just being on one side, right? So he is being attacked and accused by these guys over here, Grimlore and DJ Clancy as well, about him being a Nazi. And they're like, we should do something about this. They feel emboldened trying to take Asmongold down.
and facilitating and promoting political violence. This is something that is guaranteed 100% against the terms of service. We'll go over, of course, obviously.
I mean, I'm
Sean
dyslexic,
also
Shinobi,
had to
and I
chirp
figured
about
it
this
out,
as well.
so I
He
think
was not happy about
that
it.
just might be a
It's
skill,
bit of a
skill
miss.
difference.
Like, my understanding is that they burned them not because it was gender stuff, but because it was written in Jewish and not German.
Asmon is a gold standard for intellectual honesty. I would stand by that man any day. I think there's about 3.4 million people who are picking up what you're putting down with that. I really appreciate how Asmongold can yap and break things down in a way that's most oftentimes non-emotional at all and fully logical. And when he's in an emotional situation or just like things are getting emotional language, he said something in another video where you can't logically get something, you can't like logically talk somebody out of an argument that they didn't logically put themselves in there. You have to fight emotional language with emotional language, and he's absolutely right. He is like a modern day Socrates or Plato. It's kind of crazy. A modern day Socrates, or I just said that. I can't talk. Confucius. Jesus. Asmon's
He's
a
not
walking
happy.
W.
He's not
He is.
happy.
He's not perfect by any stretch of the means. Nobody is.
There is literally no reason.
But
to
I definitely
fucking
think he
go to
gets a lot of
school,
unnecessary
study
hate.
Political science, spend years and years of trying to understand how.
Although his audience is a different matter. A lot of malicious Nazis there. I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. He deserves better. Yeah, okay. I totally agree with you. But this is what we were talking about earlier, Shinobi and Asura, is that like with a streamer, a creator on YouTube, sometimes you don't get to like always choose the community that comes around and the people that come around and watch your content and view your content. And I'm not saying that Geeky is a Nazi, but sometimes Geeky says some wild stuff that we just all probably open our eyes and just look over and we're like, what the hell did that man just say? But he's a part of the community. We could ban him. I mean, he hasn't said anything absolutely like Nazi crazy, but you know what I'm saying? Like, he's wild. I mean, if someone says something racist, you ban him. A little wild, somebody trying to be, go hot take that's fine.
How
a little annoying
politics
from time to
works,
time, but
the importance of learning history. I'm not an elitist by any means. I think anybody can.
Geeky
do
is
this.
a good little
fucking
Hitler.
Silly-ass job.
But
It is just crazy that like what is declared.
Oh,
good
shout out to
enough
Geeky.
in terms of political commentary on the right wing side of things. That's crazy.
You know
Number
he's
one
loving
political
that
commentator on
he's
the
being talked about
platform,
right now.
Still
Hassan is really getting upset about this #1 political commentator on the platform. Hassan is the #1 political commentator on the platform. I cover some political issues. Hassan
I actually agree with that take completely.
only covers political issues.
Yeah.
I've never said that. I've never insinuated that. Now, if he's mad that the videos that I do get more views or something, that's fine. That's okay.
It is pretty crazy that
Subtle flex.
Asmon go watch that fucking Ethan Klein video, and then
He's unhappy that I watched the content nuke video. Now, I understand why he's unhappy. I think that if I was him, I would also be unhappy.
Don't trust Hassan for
his
two
chat
shits.
kept coming.
I know. I try to watch Hassan, and there's some things that he says that I honest to God, I do agree with. But more oftentimes than not, he loses the plot in his own argument. And I'm like, bro, I can't stand by you when you go off like this.
In here to be like, you're anti-Semitic terrorism lover. You should be banned. Why aren't you banned yet? Meanwhile,
I mean, to be fair, Hassan, you have been very positive towards people who are on the national terror list. I mean, you have been. Like, this is a fact. Like, this isn't a debatable reality. You interviewed a terrorist, and I defended you interviewing the terrorist. I even defended you with that. I said it's okay because I want people to be able to talk to people. But I didn't see the whole thing, and I didn't realize you glazed him that hard. You didn't have to do that.
bro, are we about to have a Houthi rebel on stream? Yes, brother. I'm a journalist. Does he know what One Piece is?
He's been watching it since he was a kid.
No way! We love you too, man.
I love you. I love you so much.
It's
Oh my God, that's it. Shit.
crazy.
This fucking chat's going based
Yeah.
Nazis. But hey,
His chat is
no,
retarded?
wait,
So is mine.
that's what a lot of my
You know?
naysayers wanted, though. They wanted someone.
Now, I'm not going to bring up the point when Ethan was getting attacked in
So am
Hassan's
I.
chat, and then Hassan said he couldn't control everybody saying things in his chat.
I mean-
and now he's mad at me for not having every single person that's banned in my chat. I just find this to be ironic. I do. I find it to be very ironic.
Well, thank God I'm here then. First point, every singular chatter that was spamming was banned days before the tweet was made. But of course Hassan didn't go back to check and just run with the story. Second point,
This is also another thing about having a great community with mods and people who want the streamer or the creator to succeed. They're going to help by getting rid of all of this just toxic nature in the chat, which I'm very thankful that you guys do as well.
Hassan had this to say after Ethan begged him to moderate his chat.
Can you do you care that your chat is calling me racist? Do you make any attempt to modify?
I have not looked at my chat.
Am I toxic? No, you're
I
funny
have
as
not looked
hell.
at my chat at all, but you
I
have
just
to
opened it, but don't you have
Maybe a little
moderators? Do you
toxic.
care at all about what
No,
your audience
Archivist,
says about
actually,
me?
no, you're
32,000
not
people in
actually.
here right now.
I don't think you've
can't
trolled too
stop
much.
people from viewing you a certain way.
One can only assume what chat might have been spamming when Twitch literally had to change the
Asura,
rules around
you
the
are
use of the word
detoxic.
Zionist after it was
Asura,
paired
didn't you
with
tell
every
me not to
derogatory
mod
term
you? You're
imaginable.
like, no,
This time
don't
we
give
have
me that
most of the
power.
chat covered by Ethan's cam. Let's check other times. This is a letter from a Columbia Jewish student denouncing harassment by other campus students and receiving no support.
I wonder why we recoiled when people screamed resist by any means, telling us that we are all inbred and that we have no culture.
That's pretty much how
We shudder when an
This is literally
you said, I'm going to make a video criticizing you, and then you criticize me. We're going to grow together. That's mostly drama channels. That's, most people behind the scenes. It's just fake drama.
Chat's immediate reaction after he said the Jewish students were being called inbreds.
On the way out, a pro-Hamas mob started chasing us, calling us in the middle of campus, calling us inbred, that we have no culture. One of them grabbed my friend's Israeli flag in the middle of campus, carried it to a mob by the gate that were communicating with the angry mobs.
Now you're probably thinking, but editor, surely Hassan banned all of these chatters. Who
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. When he says it, it's not like the situation is funny or humorous. That's a terrible thing. You don't want anybody to go through that. Sometimes people laugh when they see something that's just, or hear something that's just so crazy. The only thing you can do is just laugh, and it's just like, what the hell? What? You know what I mean?
incidentally are all subs as well. Well, let's check, shall we? All right, first sub on top. Jedhug. Uh-oh. They were never banned, and he's still chatting to this day. Let's do another one. The Red Star. Big sub gifter as well. Nope. Never banned for that either. What about Jordan? 3 years sub and still going strong. What about Lund? Literally chatting while I'm making this video. Okay?
Okay, man, I feel like even though I'm not the biggest Hassan supporter, this criticism against Hassan, I think is a little ridiculous. we can't. And I get that we're looking at his chat because he's calling people out for other chats, yet he's not moderating his own. So he's speaking out of both sides of his mouth. But that's criticize him for this. Don't you know what I mean?
I think I made my point clear. Back to you, Baldy.
And see, this is the difference between
I don't believe someone using an AI voice
extremism on Twitch and the extremism that's on my platform. The difference between extremism in my chat and extremism in other people's chat is that in my chat, people actually do get banned for it. Me saying that these books were burned not because they were about gender specifically, but just because they were non-German. Why don't we look it up and why don't we find out for ourselves? How about we watch the video from the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum? Do we think this is maybe a good? Is this maybe a good?
I think this is insane.
Source.
In 1933, in April, Nazi German students decided to organize a nationwide book burning program to eliminate foreign influence, to purify German culture as they saw it.
That's right.
It's so gross to purify German culture as they saw it. In other words, anything that they thought was different was wrong. And I hate this line of thinking because I think knowledge is power, right? So when we lost like these books, the Library of Alexandria, the book burning that happened in India, where lots of books were burned, like, and not lots, like lots of books, like, it's just that's knowledge that people's hardship, their work, so much effort is put into that. Just to burn it, it hurts my heart.
So you have committees of students.
So this is exactly what I said.
Meeting with professors together, deciding
people
what
call you Hans from Inglourious
Basterds
Basterds.
University libraries.
Nice.
Let's get to the categories.
Would count as un-German. They didn't see themselves as suppressing.
Un-German. Let's go back and watch the original clip. And it was like a retaking of Germany for Germans. That was. This is, again, my source for this is the Holocaust Museum of the United States.
In each German university city, 34 of them in all, thousands of people gathered together at a public place in which books that had been confiscated either by the students themselves, often with the help of...
Take away the mind, only a hungry body lives. Yo, Shuby spitting some facts this morning or tonight his time.
Police were brought and
he's cooking that midnight oil.
Pile. Student leaders exhorted their followers and the listening crowds to swear an oath by the fire to destroy.
Yo, what's up, Geeky?
Subversive and un-German.
Chat, who's gonna tell Geeky?
It's like a retaking of Germany for Germans. That was like the uprising of the Nazis.
Oh, who's gonna tell him?
Sure. For the national treason against our soldiers in World War I, we're burning Hemingway's books.
Joseph
Hemingway. Wow. That doesn't seem like it's about gender at all.
It is amazing to me the variety of books that that was
very big variety
on that night and thereafter.
Among the authors whose books were burned were Ernest Hemingway, both Mann brothers, Thomas and Heinrich.
There's the German writer Erich Maria Remarque, who wrote the famous book All Quiet on the Western Front.
Another gender ideology book. And then also Hassan would probably, I don't know if Hassan knows this or not, Hassan would be very upset to hear this. They also burned some of Karl Marx.
You see what I mean? Right on the money.
Lenin. They burned Trotsky. They burned a lot of communist books as well.
Yep.
Yeah, not Marx. Yeah, they did. They got rid of them.
That they were all considered dangerous by the Nazis.
Yes.
Reading about Anne Frank, they discover that they are that little girl, and that what happened to that little girl was a supreme act of injustice.
This is, I mean, like, I guess maybe we won't make the Houthi joke, but like, man, it's really hard not to, isn't it? It's really hard not to.
It's literally like talking to fucking Anne Frank, basically, okay?
Jesus Christ.
Being able to talk to Anne Frank.
So they connect to her in a way that no political sermon or propaganda could effect. And for tyrants, control is the main thing. They don't like this unpredictability. They don't want the citizens to.
Why do people visit her house, the Anne Frank Memorial House, or something like? I don't know. I wouldn't want to. I think places like that have energy. Like you know, sometimes you walk into a room and it just feels super ominous. I would not want to walk into Anne Frank's room.
Connect to the unknown parts of themselves, of their past, and to connect to the world.
Yes, you do.
That's again why people want to get me banned too. It's because I talk about things in ways that people don't approve of, and so they want to destroy my platform and get me in trouble because they don't want me to be able to have a voice.
That's exactly it. If you have a voice and you have like for Asmon, you have a loud voice, there's going to be people, no matter what you say, who stand opposed by you, right? So if you just spend all your time focusing on that, you're never going to get anywhere. So I hate that it's like Asmon is having to even do this kind of video because this is just insane. He says this, so I'm just going to regurgitate what the Roach King says himself. If you're going to make extraordinary claims, you're going to have extraordinary evidence. And he's coming out with receipts right now and then expanding on his previous thoughts.
That's the reason.
The only thing that they cannot put in jail or prevent from physically leaving is your mind, is your imagination. That cannot be captured.
Which is why freedom of speech is so important, and that's why I'm such a big advocate for it.
Yep.
Is because I know that the people who try to limit freedom of speech and they try to, put limits on it and stop people from saying certain things, when you live with your mind in a cage, that's only the beginning. It's never where it stops.
But the idea of freedom should be kept alive, even if it's between 2 people or 3 people. Talk about it.
Fucking based. Absolutely fucking based.
Think about it, live about it, and hope about it.
And so anyway, basically a clip of me discussing the fact that the Nazi book burnings were not exclusive to LGBT, but they were in fact for a lot of things that were anti-German culture and things that were involved with people being Jewish, communism, etc. This is true, and my source for this is the Holocaust Museum. It's very sad, but one thing that I learned that I keep learning over and over is that when people can't win in the free marketplace of ideas, they have to resort to lies. The sad thing is none of them will acknowledge this and keep calling you a Nazi.
That's the philosophical quote right there. Say that one more time, Asmon.
It's very sad, but one thing that I learned that I keep learning over and over is that when people can't win in the free marketplace of ideas, they have to resort to lies. The sad thing is none of them will acknowledge this and keep calling you a Nazi.
That's based as fuck. That is something. I want that on like my wall.
Well, the thing is that all of the people that have done that, they've already completely gone hollow. There's nothing that like I can do to bring them back from...
They've gone hollow like they're in Bleach? If they've gone full hollow, the only thing you can do is slice them down.
The psychosis that they've brought themselves into. But the best that I can do is to offer a measured and, to the best of my ability, educated perspective on why these things happen. What's being discussed here is how these topics and how these patterns are re-emerging in today's society. And I think that it's a very important component to this, that this was done by primarily young people. Because it's really, in a lot of cases, the contemporary wisdom nowadays is that older people are more conservative and younger people are more liberal.
Yeah.
But I think in cases of economic depression or national depression, sometimes the opposite can become true. And this is an example of it. And this is what I've been talking about. This is what I was saying before about how, like, Hitler was getting popular on TikTok, etc. So, like, you guys see...
That's, honestly, there's probably some truth to that. Just in balance of, like, yin and yang. Like, having the opposites on that. Like, if the youth are going to be more liberal, the older are going to be more conservative. You flip it, have it on its head. What are the variables that have that? And it's probably economic hardship. And as I've gotten older, in order to have a true free market, at least here in America, if you want the opportunity for you to have success, it's sad, but the government does have a lot to play with that. Unfortunately so. And you want them to try to control themselves and restrain themselves as much as possible. But over the past few years in America, past few decades, it's seemingly that we've just continuously kind of lost the plot. And now we have, shout out to Trump and this whole administration. It seems like ripping the Band-Aid off, but
how all this is...
It's just a lot.
Fitting together, how all this is coming together. Well, this is why it's important to talk about this history, is because in a lot of cases... I don't
Geeky,
think
you are right on the money, brother.
Rhymes. And so when I see certain things happening nowadays, when I talk about the resurgence of these things happening, the reason why I
told
talk
you
about
guys,
the resurgence
I
of these
told
things
you.
like this happening is because I see the precursors of it, because of the precursors of it last time that it
What's
happened.
up, Ram?
That's the reality. And
What's up,
so
Crazy
when
Mad?
I'm discussing a topic like what was being discussed in here, trying to broaden the perspective of it, I was actually saying that this isn't good, even if you don't like any trans stuff at all. In a lot of cases, oppressive regimes will take a couple of things that are agreeable and then package them into tyranny and then hopefully sell that to the masses, and the masses buy it because of those couple of bad things. I think that maybe even off.
Once more, the way Asmon is able to break things down, I think we could all agree. It's non-emotional, it's completely logical, and I just eat things that are like presented in a philosophical fortune cookie kind of way as it is. Maybe that makes me slightly retarded, whatever. I just appreciate his level of critical thinking and the way he just presents really a lot of different things, whether it be on politics. Obviously he's a gamer, I'm a gamer, I enjoy his stuff.